So to download, you click on the file, right click, and save it to your desktop and print it out. So everyone should have this. Now we're going to get ready. I'm going to share my OneNote file, which will be visible to you on your screen. I have not selected anything, so you won't be seeing anything right now. Make sure that you have a piece of paper, your review sheet, and a calculator. Share my screen, doing it right now. Now you should be able to see my OneNote file. Everyone good and ready? Right, so I believe someone had asked for 15. That was the first question that was asked. I'll speak louder in case you can't hear me. Better? Okay. So someone had asked for 15, so we'll start with 15. All right, let me get my pen. And let's start. Find side AD in simplest radical form in the figure below. So to find side AD, you have to first realize that AD is equal to side AC plus side CD. Okay? So the first thing that we'll do is we'll first find side CD. I'm going to identify that side as X. And to find side CD, we're going to use triangle BCD. So to find side CD, we're going to use the triangle BCD. And why not just draw it out? I'll draw it out for you. Triangle BCD, where angle C is 90, angle B is 30 degrees. We know side BC is 4 meters, and we're looking for side X, CD. So to find side X, we're going to use angle B, which is 30 degrees, and you want to identify angle 30, angle B, with the sides that is opposite to the side that is adjacent. Now this is a trigonometric function, which is going to be tan. Now if you want, take a look at this. I created this. You should be able to see SOHCAHTOA. So way to remember all of the trigonometric functions. The one that we are going to be using in this problem is tan. Opposite and adjacent. Let's go back to the question, which is 15. So we're using tan. So tan of 30 degrees is equal to side X over 4. Opposite over adjacent. Now to solve for X, what we need to do is we need to cross multiply. Put tan of 30 over 1. It makes it easier. So to cross multiply, we'll have 4 times tan of 30 degrees is equal to 1 times X, which is X. Now, 4 times tan of 30. Tan of 30 degrees is an exact value. So you can memorize the table, which is provided to you in your textbook. Here is our table, and we want tan of 30 degrees. So we're looking here, and we want tan of 30. So tan of 30 degrees is 1 over the square root of 3. Another way of getting this is by using the special right triangle, but that's up to you. You don't have to use that. So memorize the table. It's 1 over the square root of 3. So let's go back. So tan of 30 degrees is 1 over the square root of 3. Therefore, x is equal to 4 over the square root of 3. So x is equal to 4 over the square root of 3. Now we need to find side AC, and I'm going to identify that side as y. Now you'll notice that we can use triangle BCA to find side AC. Now we know BC is 4 meters, and we also know that C is 90, and angle B. Let's find angle B. How can we find angle B? Well, we know that this whole thing is considered to be 90 degrees. And we know half of the angle is 30, therefore this must be 60. So angle B in this triangle is going to be 60 degrees. Why? Because 60 plus 30 is 90. So let's identify the sides here. We know opposite and we know adjacent. Same thing, tan. So we're going to use tan of 60 degrees is equal to y over 4. Opposite over adjacent. Now to find y, let's cross multiply again. So 4 times tan of 60 degrees is equal to y. Now what's tan of 60? We can look back at our table here. Now we want tan of 60, so let's look here. And we want tan of 60. So tan of 60 is the square root of 3. So 4 times the square root of 3 is equal to y. So y is equal to 4 square root of 3. But you have not answered the question. The question asks you for side AD. So remember, AD is equal to the sum of AC plus side CD. Now what is AC? We found AC to be 4 square root of 3 plus side CD we found to be 4 divided by the square root of 3. Now let's add these. You cannot add them as they are. You need a common denominator. What is the common denominator here? The common denominator is the square root of 3. So I'm going to show the work over here on the side. I have some room. So the LCD is the square root of 3, so I'll multiply top and bottom here by the square root of 3. What will we have? 4 square root of 3 here plus 4 times, now what's the square root of 3 times the square root of 3? It's just 3. So the square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is equal to the square root of 9. And what's the square root of 9? 3. Now what will we end up having here? We'll have 12 plus 4 over the square root of 3, which is 16 over the square root of 3. You have a square root in the denominator, which you cannot have. You need to rationalize your denominator by multiplying top and bottom by the square root of 3. So just like what I have up here, it's the same idea here. So finally, we'll have 16 square root of 3 divided by 3. That is side AD. Are there any questions? Okay, we're going to take a minute. We're going to be answering some of the questions that people are asking. me scroll up so that people can see the work here. Okay, so I received a question as to why you cannot do this as a decimal. The, the reason why you cannot represent the answer as a decimal is because the question asks you for it in simplest radical form, the, the exact value. So therefore you have to have it in simplest radical form. You cannot use decimals here. Following what the question is asking us, it has to be in simplest radical form. So you cannot use decimals. In the final answer, we end up getting, I shouldn't say the final answer, when we end up doing the work here to find side AD, we get 16 over the square root of 3. You can never have a square root in the denominator. So you need to rationalize your denominator by multiplying top and bottom by the square root of 3. By doing so, you're ending up getting rid of the square root or the radical in the denominator. So just like what I have circled here in black, when you multiply the square root of 3 and the square root of 3 together, you get the square root of 9. And what is the square root of 9? 3. It's no more radical. This is in simplest radical form. Remember, you never ever want to have a radical or a square root in the denominator. So that's why you have to multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3. All right, so moving on to question 1. Given that cosine of theta is equal to 12 over 13 and that theta is in the first quadrant, find sine of theta and cotangent of theta in fractional form. So they tell us that theta is in the first quadrant. The first thing that I would do here is I would draw my 4 quadrants, okay, and identify the 4 quadrants. First, second, third, and fourth.